I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Market News, here with the weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending March the 7th. We had a light test of feeders and stockers selling steady to $4 higher. A light test due to the winter storm that was really supposed to hit hard in the major trading areas early in the week on Monday and Tuesday, and it really come in through the weekend when a lot of the consigners usually bring their cattle to the sale. But a lot of those fears and the forecasts really didn't develop, unlike they have all winter long. But we did have sleet and freezing rain and some light snows across the major trading areas. They had a lot of auctions that were canceled in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kentucky. Those are some of the major places where your stocker buyers go to fill their orders. But we don't expect to be behind in marketing due to missing a lot of the trade this week. A lot of your sale barns were more than happy just to go ahead and close down this week, save a little money on labor. Next week's offering's not expected to be larger than usual, and actually it'll be a good size sale to lure some of those buyers in that come from quite a ways away. So unlike your school kids that have a lot of makeup days, there's not a lot of makeup marketing to go on in the cattle auctions, even though we've had to cancel some of the sales going along. But later in the week, when we got to midweek and on, all through the Midwest and the plains, we saw the weather really straighten out and get more spring-like. And even though we've got all-time record highs on your stocker weights and classes there, we do expect for this grass fever to just really explode and become an epidemic here for the next several weeks going through March. But we're getting some warmer weather. Anytime you get warmer weather, the first sign somebody sees a green blade of grass pop, and everybody's going to feel like they're behind getting their grass cattle put together. Your best demand by far this week in the places where it was tested was for those bigger stocker cattle weighing 600 to 750 pounds, and some of those cattle would be coming off dry and short wheat, dryland wheat pastures in the southern plains, and not a very good wheat year this year. Even though we had a lot of big snows and some moisture up in the Midwest, farther in the Midwest, in the southern plains, that it was awful cold, but didn't really allow for enough moisture to keep that wheat going, and it got so cold down there that a lot of that wheat just kind of crawls back into the ground. It didn't offer a lot of pasture this winter for those wheat pasture cattle. But still good demand for all weights and classes. Not quite as much demand for some of those heavier cattle coming out of the growing yards up in the northern plains, which they see a lot of those coming through. But still awful good prices for them, but just not, the buyers really not going after them like they do on the stocker cattle this time of year. Still a lot of big demand for replacement quality open heifers, especially south of I-70 and the milder climates. Most of your guys in Nebraska and the Dakotas have already bought their heifers that they're going to get ready to breed. But in southern Kansas, Pratt, Kansas this week had a lot of replacement quality heifers there. Had one particular consignment of 40 head of red Angus, fancy red Angus heifers weighing 923 pounds. They're open now, bring $2 a pound. I'm not a math wizard, but that comes out to about $1,846 per head, and that's for an open heifer not even weighing 950 pounds. Your fat cattle this week were mostly $2 lower, from 148 to 150. The board didn't help at the middle of the week, was down pretty hard, and they'll jostle that board quite a bit now that we've gone to the April spot for the board. And you noticed last week, as February closed up and finished up their trading, that February contract really had to run the last 2 or 3 days to get anywhere close to what the cash market was, but got quite a bit of breathing room now, so they'll jostle that April contract around quite a bit. Your dress sales were steady to mostly $3 lower, from $237 up to $240. Regional weighted averages this week in the north central states on a 700 to 800 pound steer cost you $177.45 compared to $176.02 last week and $141.22 a year ago. Down in the south central regions, a 6-weight steer cost you $187.40 compared to $183.19 last week and $151.22 a year ago. Down in the southeast, a 5-weight steer on order cost you $191.25 compared to $190.58 last week and $153.50 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder and stocker cattle market summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the spring cattle grading seminar at Columbia, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.